In 1959, Bureau for Paranormal Research and Defense Special Agents Hellboy, Dennis Gates, and Bobby Joe Song, who is doing fieldwork for the first time, transport a large demonic spider by train through Appalachia. Suddenly triggered by an unknown evil in the area, the spider breaks free from its crate, kills Dennis, and causes chaos that crashes the train car in the woods. Following a fight with Hellboy, the spider shrinks to normal size and disappears into a grate in the forest floor. Hellboy and Joe continue on to a dilapidated cabin where they find a family nursing a catatonic boy believed to have been entranced by a witch. Having just returned to the region for the first time in years, local man Tom Ferrell joins everyone at the house. After finding a witch ball that confirms the boy's hex, Tom decides to question nearby witch Cora Fisher since they used to be sweethearts. Hellboy and Joe accompany him. Upon reaching Cora's cabin, Hellboy, Tom, and Joe find Cora's body is just a sack of flesh, indicating her spirit is currently elsewhere. While waiting for Cora to return, Tom tells Hellboy and Joe how, in his youth, he was under the influence of another witch, Effie Kolb. Tom followed Effie's instructions to clean a cat skeleton, and whatever bone he was holding when the devil appeared would be Tom's lucky bone. Tom soon met the Crooked Man, an undead miser who collects souls for the devil that he exchanges for coins. Tom refused to use the bone's magic and even tried ridding himself of it, but it continually appeared in his life and seemingly saved him from dying during World War II. Cora returns to her body. Cora cryptically warns that they are coming for her soul. Effie Kolb arrives at Cora's cabin on horseback to taunt Tom. Hellboy warns that if Effie's master wants Tom to pay his devilish debt, the Crooked Man will have to go through Hellboy. Effie cackles and floats away after revealing her horse was actually Tom's elderly father, transformed and forced into extreme physical exertion. Tom's father dies. Despite the danger of the Crooked Man waiting for him there, Tom sets off for Reverend Watts's remote church to bury his father. Hellboy, Joe, and Cora join him. Along the way, Joe presses Cora for information about spells due to her passionate interest in gaining the ability to wield magic. Cora suddenly begins levitating. A snake emerges from between Cora's legs and bites her. Hellboy fights the snake, but it bites him until he crushes its head. Dazed by the supernatural venom, Hellboy has a vision of his mother, Sarah Hughes, suffering eternal torment for her sins before a massive bird burns her with flames as she's forced to birth Hellboy. Hellboy returns to reality. Tom tries to revive Cora, but she disappears into the dirt. Hellboy, Tom, and Joe arrive at the church. Reverend Watts, who is blind, reveals Cora told him they would be coming because although the devil claimed her body, he didn't claim her soul. Even though it is still daytime, darkness falls as several witches surround the church. Effie coaxes Tom outside for a confrontation with the Crooked Man, who tells Tom to turn over his lucky bone. Tom offers to hand over the bone to prevent anyone else from dying. But Hellboy stops him under suspicion of the Crooked Man having too strong of a desire for the object. The Crooked Man taunts Hellboy about his mother. Hellboy tries to shoot the Crooked Man, but insects swarm Hellboy. The Crooked Man uses supernatural powers to fire iron fence posts into Hellboy's body. Everyone retreats back inside the church. The Crooked Man offers to restore Reverend Watts's youth and eyesight if he turns over the bone. Watts resists the Crooked Man's tempting visions and refuses. The Crooked Man resurrects corpses from the cemetery outside to attack everyone in the church. Hellboy begins dispatching the ghouls, but the church becomes overrun. Watts and Tom use the lucky bone to draw a cross on the shovel used to bury bodies outside. Hellboy then swings the shovel to vanquish the ghouls. Hellboy instructs Joe to stay behind with Watts, while he and Tom venture on to the Crooked Man's home in a wrecked region known as the Hurricane. After they become separated in the Crooked Man's house, Tom confronts Effie, but repels her with the bone. Meanwhile, Hellboy confronts a haunting vision of his mother where he is tricked into turning his gun on himself. At the same time, Joe recalls Tom saying the surrounding hills are like a living thing, and the underground mines are its circulatory system. Accompanied by Reverend Watts, Joe ventures into the mines in hopes of using her first spell to disrupt the Crooked Man's power source. Underground, a murder of crows pecks out Watts's eyes. Joe confronts the demon spider that escaped earlier. Focusing on a traumatic childhood memory involving her dying mother, Jo recites an incantation to break the Crooked Man's magic, which returns the spider to normal size, allowing her to recapture it. Jo's hex simultaneously shakes Hellboy out of his vision, preventing him from inadvertently shooting himself. After they regroup, Hellboy and Tom confront the Crooked Man. Tom throws a witch ball into the Crooked Man's mouth to stop his assault against Hellboy. Hellboy resumes his own assault and uses his gun to blow apart the Crooked Man's head. As they exit the house, Hellboy tells Tom he thinks the lucky bone is merely a cat bone, and the power was in Tom all along. The two of them come across a cowering Effie Kolb, now in her true form as an aged hag. Tom and Hellboy use the bridle she put on Tom's father to transform Effie into a white horse. Hellboy returns to the church to help Jo recover. Hellboy and Jo leave together, find a phone, and summon a BPRD helicopter to rescue them.